I am very excited to speak to this next dear lady. She is Senator Elizabeth Warren. Now, here's a little bit about her. Elizabeth Warren is a fearless consumer advocate who has made her life's work the fight for middle class families. She is serving her second term in the US Senate, representing Massachusetts. She is widely credited for the original thinking, political courage, and relentless persistence that led to the creation of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which has successfully protected millions of consumers from financial tricks and traps often hidden in mortgages, credit cards, and other financial products. Elizabeth is one of the nation's leading progressive voices, fighting for big structural change that would transform our economy and rebuild the middle class. And in 2019, she stepped up to run for president of the United States. I adore her. Hello, Senator Warren.
Hello, Yvette. It is so good to be here with you. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Emily's List. Emily's List is why I'm here. So I'm so happy to be here with you.
I'm so happy to see your little face. Okay, so I have a couple of questions. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Okay. So you chose to reference some important women and immigrant-led labor movements during important moments in your campaign launch, like important moments like your campaign launch and key policy speeches. Why was that so important to you?
So at every crucial point in our nation's history, there's been a turning point, and the spirit of American imagination has been a driving force for progress and change. Look, the rich and the powerful have always tried to rig the system in their favor, and at times they succeed. But throughout our history, the forces of division, of greed, of corruption meet their match when ordinary women have come together to fight for economic and political power. From the persistent women of the Bread and Roses strike, which I talked about at my campaign launch, the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory and the visionary leadership of Frances Perkins, the courage and persistence of the Atlanta washerwomen, Dorothy Bolden and Phyllis Wheatley, and the fearless hearts of those who fought for justice for janitors. In all of them, they teach us that the fights we're in today are informed by the victories that come before us. It was truly an honor to be able to tell the stories of these courageous women and to show the whole world what's possible when women stand together, when women fight together, and when women persist together.
Yes. Well, you know that I adore you, and I have had the pleasure of getting to share with people who I know you to be. And what has always been so delightful about you is that you are exactly who people think you are. If they have an imagination of you being this wonderful, kind person that can break down any doggone thing, doggone it, that's you. I just wanted to make sure I take that moment to tell you that because I'm so happy to be here with you. Now, here's my second question. What did you learn while you were on the campaign trail that you'd like to share with women who will run in the future?
You don't get what you don't fight for. I ran for president and I lost. But ask me how sorry I am that I ran. Not one bit. I got out there and I fought for what I believed in. And look, it didn't match the moment, but I am not sorry I got in the fight. I made pinky promises to little girls and showed them what it means to fight for what you believe in. And right now, I'm supporting a lot of young people, including a lot of young women who are running for office. On election night, I call candidates who've won and I say, congratulations, and we talk about what's next. But for me, the most important calls I make are to the candidates who lost. The ones who got in the fight and who came up short. Because the way I see it, we can't just get into fights we know we're going to win.
Right.
If we want to make change, we have to be willing to take risks. So you don't get what you don't fight for, get out there and fight.
I love that. You just referenced your pinky promises with little girls around the country. Can you tell us a little bit about how that got started?
So when I first ran for Senate 8 years ago in Massachusetts, Massachusetts never elected a woman for senator. And so, right at the beginning, before I announced and then after I announced, a lot of people told me that it wasn't going to work. I shouldn't even try. Massachusetts, quote, wasn't ready. But I persisted. And that's where the pinky promise started. Every time I'd meet a little girl, I do a pinky promise. And when I ran for president, I kept it up. So when I'd meet a little girl, I'd get down on one knee and I'd say, my name is Elizabeth and I'm running for president because that's what girls do.
Mhm.
And then we do a pinky promise to remember. And all of the plans that I had and that I continue to have for
Yeah.
this country were influenced by those pinky promises and by the countless letters and notes and pictures that those little girls pressed into my hands.
Yeah.
So my will to fight was made stronger by those little girls. I also drew strength from their parents who whispered their dreams into my ears. And those are probably the two things I remember most from these person to person connections. The first is fear.
Mm.
It's children who don't want to get shot at school. It's young people who are afraid they're never going to be able to pay off their student loans. It was
Mhm.
seniors whose social security check just wouldn't cover the basics.
Mm.
But the second thing I learned from all of them is that fear never won out.
Mm.
The fear was almost always followed by hope for change, a belief in America. You know, running for office, fighting for the plans you believe in, it's the ultimate act of optimism. And
Yeah.
all the people who showed up, all the people who volunteered, all the people who came and raised their voices, that's an act of optimism and it gives me hope to this very day.
You know what? I remember you being as excited to see the people as they were to see you. And that's the type of excitement and joy that cannot be faked. It can't be put on. You either like people or you don't. And I've seen you. I've seen how you interact with people, how you lean in to people, all people. And I think that is one of the greatest gifts about you and what makes you a great leader. But what do you think makes a great leader?
You know, it is true that my very favorite part of campaigning was the town halls and the selfie lines.
Mhm.
Um, you're very kind to say what you say, Yvette, but the truth is, I got more than I gave.
Mm.
I got so much from people. I think that's what we need in a leader. I think it's what we need in a president. I think right now about this presidential election that's coming up and the difference between Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
Mm.
That Donald Trump is a man who cares only about himself.
Yeah.
He's a man who watches his poll numbers and how he looks on camera and, everything measured through the lens of how it affects Donald Trump. Joe Biden is a man of genuine empathy,
Mm.
a man who grew up um, in a family that had its ups and downs and, lived in a family when his dad lost a job and they lost their home. He understands what's happening to human beings in this country at a human level.
Yeah.
And of all the things we need in a leader, yeah, we need somebody who's competent and who's smart and who will bring good people in. But we need someone who has a basic empathy for other human beings.
Yes.
And that's why I'm in this fight for Joe Biden. I think that's the part that's going to make him a really great president.
I love that answer. It's we're almost done, but I just have a couple of rapid fire
Sure.
questions for you to wrap up. Okay, so what was the most unique place you visited during the campaign trail? A place that you will just never forget?
Kermit, West Virginia. Uh,
Wow.
it's a town of 400 people. in West Virginia, kind of near the Kentucky border. Uh, it's a place that has been hit so
Mm,
hard by the opioid epidemic.
yeah.
In the space of just a few years, more than 13 million
Oh my
prescription
goodness.
opioid pills were delivered to a local pharmacy there. I went to Kermit. It was described, they described themselves as the reddest of the red.
Mm,
And I did a town hall in the fire station.
mhm.
And I think the whole town turned out. A lot of Trump
Mhm.
hats and t-shirts. And we talked about opioids, we talked about drugs, and we talked about what it means to have a government that isn't on the side of the people and what it would mean to have a government that's fighting for the people, fighting against the drug companies, fighting to protect people, fighting to try to help people. And by the time that town hall was over, we did a selfie line. Everybody wanted a picture, a lot of
See?
hugs going around. But it was really a reminder, don't write anybody off in this country.
Mm.
Um, I loved being there. And the last thing the fire chief whispered in my ear when I left was, "You're welcome to come back anytime."
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I need to say the same thing in regards to you in my life. You're welcome to come back at any time. Thank you
Thank you.
so much, Senator Warren. This was just an honor. And I've had a ball talking to you and all the wonderful, wonderful senators. Thank you, Emily's List, for letting me be a part of the We Are Emily Award celebration of these amazing women. And I'm so happy that you guys will continue to work and inspire us all. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you. Thank you, Yvette. I love you.